gonna be a lot of cutting.
There's got yeah. Well, every time we mess up, we should change hats.
I don't have another hat. Give me the beanie.
Hat slowly rotates.
What's up, guys? Shinjay here from TM32, and we are here post Ascent Houston with a very special guest. We have Sylidar here, and we're just gonna do another episode of Developer Sit Down.
Another?
Yeah, because this is our third one. Well, I feel like everybody kind of knows who you are if you are involved in the Grand Archive community or in the Discords. But for those who are not, who don't know, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Sylidar. I'm the lead game designer for Grand Archive, and I do a lot of talking on Discord, so you might know me from there.
It's the Mr. Grey Wolf himself.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's actually a very rare opportunity to have you on camera and do an interview with us. And I don't know if the story behind Grand Archive has ever really been like really publicized. I know you've told a couple people privately or at an event. So how did like Grand Archive come to fruition? Like, when did the idea come to you? What's the story behind Grand Archive?
So I've been a card game player for a really long time, and I also, when I went to college, I did a lot of studying for game design. And so as I play card games, I've always considered, like, what if things worked like this? What if things worked like that? Why haven't this type of design hasn't been explored before? And over the course of, like, many years of playing trading card games, all these ideas continued to build up. And I saw the trend on Kickstarter, trading card games doing really well. I had connections with some of the current members of Weebs. It seemed like a very perfect fit for me to get them to help me with a project with my game design idea and their skills like art direction and other stuff like that.
How long between like when you first had the idea and when like you popped onto Kickstarter, like roughly how long do you think that took?
There's a lot of ideas, and it's hard to know when one idea is like a brand new one or one idea just transformed into another. The iteration of Grand Archive that is Grand Archive now isn't that long, but it has like multiple iterations, and like the core game design, like the memory system where you put cards down into a memory zone, that's probably the most iconic feature of Grand Archive. That idea has probably been around for like 2.5 years before Kickstarter launched.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of refined
exactly.
into that. Okay. I heard that you basically destroyed your Kickstarter goal very quickly, and then I believe you guys ended around a little bit above 900K, I think. You were just shy of like that 1 million goal. We're like 6 months since like technically Kickstarter like shipped out. I know Kickstarter ended around like December of last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're almost like the 8 to 9 months, right, since when it ended roughly. Do you think Grand Archive would ever grow so rapidly, so quickly?
No, but there's also been like some like decline in the community, like noticeably during like our silent days, like after Kickstarter ended. Everyone was hype, excited for the project, but then it entered that development period of like 1 year, and then fulfillment delayed a bit. So people kind of like got distracted with a bunch of other stuff. And then when we finally released, I think the quality of like the release, the product itself, caught a lot of people off guard, and it attracted a bunch of people into the game. And then it's been like that ever since, like with the new sets.
We had the most recent Ascent Houston, which is one of your first organized events. I know you had regionals before, like we hosted one, but this is like your first, like you guys are organizing it. You're like the one like responsible, right? Honestly, I felt like it was very successful. It sold out very quickly. Tickets, VIP sold out in seconds. Champion was like within a couple minutes, and then the regular Path to Steel sold out very quickly. So I think it was a very successful event, but I don't know. How did you feel the event went?
The event took a lot of work from our team, and like it basically took like probably like 2 weeks worth of like time away from developing sets and, like, and stuff like that. So, but it was our first like major event, so we wanted to do it ourselves, even if it was just once. Our company isn't like meant to do these type of events, and it's more optimal for us to outsource into other groups to do the events for us. But just as our first major event, we wanted to, one, see how the turnout would be if we did one directly, because we're more involved, and also because we were running Path of Silver, we wanted to really finally control how that went, because it's a brand new thing, and like it's hard to trust a third party to run something so new. They don't know how to do it.
That was like the most fun I've had in because I don't really play. Like even when I was playing in like Weiss, I wasn't really, I played very casually. I never went to like a competitive event or anything like that. The number crunching and looking at all the set bonuses and figuring out, oh, like the time and money and effort I spent collecting these signature cards, the CSRs and the foils, I'm like, oh, that actually means something to me now, because look, I spend a boatload of money on this and I have it and I can actually apply that. So I thought I had a lot of fun, but I don't know. What did you think about how it ran?
Yeah, I think it ran pretty well for its first iteration. We really liked how a lot of like people formed groups to like help each other, like lend cards into collections, and like every group had like their own like number cruncher.
Yeah.
And every group has like a specific advantage. This guy's like has all the cards, but one group has a guy that programmed a little program that calculated the best scores. But might not have all the cards. Stuff like that. Just bringing the community together among the collectors, give the collectors something to do during the event, and like attract all kinds of people interested in Grand Archive into this type of event is the main goal, not just the players.
Yeah, I know one of the best, like one of the interactions that I had was like, I was sitting in the lobby because again, I had no time. So I was just sitting in the lobby number crunching, and some people were coming up to me and like, hey dude, like I just need X card to complete my set. Like, can I like buy it off of you or trade, or like, can I just do something? And it was very cool to like to basically break. It's kind of like an icebreaker almost. Like random people come up to you, you just have a chat, talk about your collection. So it was a lot of fun seeing that kind of interaction, not just with me, but with other people. But of course, there's a couple of things with Pass of Silver that was a little rough. So do you have like any plans to either improve it or I don't know, change how it works, or are you gonna even do more of those?
Yeah, so everyone's been like asking if we'll ever do a like an online submission later on, because writing it is tedious. Yeah, and the answer is yes. It's going to be integrated with the Omnidex, and participants will just be able to like input their collections and submit it to us, and then we don't need to check it manually.
Yeah. I know that you guys we're sitting there checking every list. Yeah.
Yeah, and it removes a lot of room for error. So, in addition, we have other plans to like do something, make it more entertaining with like more complicated set bonuses, since everything will be calculated for you now, and so you'll be able to calculate your score, but we might limit how many times you can check your score using the Omnidex and your account that bought the Path of Silver ticket. Stuff like this.
Okay. That sounds pretty cool. And I know like at the end of the event there was a bunch of announcements. So what's like why was there no like Path of Silver for future events like Auckland or Ontario, and why are we doing it for like Vegas?
Yeah, it's because the set bonuses for Path of Silver is really dependent on like the card pool and like how cards fit together in a group. And so we wanted to do Path of Silver at most once a set.
Okay.
And so Auckland is still using FTC. Ontario's using ALC, but we wanted to save Path of Silver for Worlds where everyone would come.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, speaking of Ontario, there's a new prize card that got announced because Auckland has the Spirit of Fire still. So, Houston has the top 8, and then now Auckland has the top 8. Ontario now has a new Spirit of Wind. Gwendolyn, I think is the
Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn is the name. What was the reason behind like changing to Spirit of Wind versus like doing another Spirit of Fire?
Like another Athene?
Yeah, basically. Like why was the change there?
Well, we just wanted to keep the prize card fresh and special. So how we're doing prize cards with Ascent specifically is each major region, so North America, Southeast Asia, and Oceania, every time they do an Ascent, they'll go through the cycle of spirits. So we'll start with fire, do wind, and water. So the third Ascent, technically, it would be Worlds. So that one would be water for North America. And then if Oceania gets a second Ascent, that will be wind. And eventually it'll start like getting pretty distinct, but that's But we wanted everyone to get like an equal opportunity at getting each of the spirits.
Does Weebs have plans to further online coverage for other events like Auckland or Ontario to do more than just like a top stream or stream at all? Or
so with Ascent Auckland, our partner Geek Culture said they wanted to do a live stream and get some people to commentate. I don't know what people they have access to or how skilled they are with it, but they did some coverage for other games before. So, I mean, it's something we're interested in, and if they need resources from us, or we'll be happy to provide it. But it's mainly just it's
kind of on the organizer.
It's on the organizer, and the amount of people that will want to help cover events at any event will increase as the player base grows. For the Ascent, you had like a bunch of people that was willing to cast your event.
Yeah, I mean that was like the hardest thing too. Is like it's the first Ascent. Obviously, everybody who is like very good at the game. It's funny because anyone who was down to commentate is also very good at the game, but also if they were good at the game, they want to compete, right? So I didn't really know who my commentators was until like literally the morning of day 2 after everyone either dropped or doesn't want to play anymore. So that was like the super struggle for us was like, I didn't know who was going to be on camera, who was commentating, what rotation, who's going to be like available for me. But what was really nice, I did put out my interest out. And so all these people did know that, hey, if they do drop day 1, then at least they can come help me, which was really great. I had Leo by Fall, Benton, Gasimus from Creative Shock, Main Deck Dan, and Alan actually. So I appreciate all of you guys for helping me. That was the level of commentary actually was very good. I was actually very happily surprised. Anyway, so speaking of Ascent Ontario, it's slated for February 10/11, and then I know during the presentation, ALK was set for release January 26th. So that's roughly about 15 or so days, which means Set 3 is going to be legal. So 2 weeks of playtesting is going to be very brutal for a lot of people. But what's super exciting is obviously we got 3 new champions. We got Guardian, we got Cleric, and we got Ranger. I think it is Tenoris, Arasana, and Diana actually, which are the names. And we got a brand new world called Azoth. What was your intentions for Set 3? I know you guys have a design notes coming up very soon, like a design note article coming up soon, but I don't know if you could give us a little hint.
So the reason why we switched worlds to Azoth is so that we can explore a bunch of different design aspects with our characters, because like not everyone likes fantasy, not everyone likes sci-fi or stuff like that. So our goal is to keep switching worlds to cover a large variety of expression with the character design. And so the goal is to have at least a character that everyone can connect with really well. And so that's just the start.
I connect with Diana because Diana was really good.
Yeah, but that's basically the gist of it.
Gotcha. Okay. I know with 3 new champions, very exciting. There's also 3 new advanced elements that got announced. It was not expressed, actually, it wasn't physically said, but I know with the Tenoris level 3 was on the slide, I believe. He had Neos on the product sheet. It's like you have to go Easter hunting almost. Like the product sheet had Arasana, has Astra, and then so the only other element I believe is Umbra, which has been stated but doesn't tell me who has it. But Diana is a champion, so therefore, we kind of have to assume Umbra goes with Diana.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're there. Imagine Diana, no advanced element. That'd be pretty cool. Could you provide any hints as to like what can we expect from the 3 elements in terms of like playstyle?
So starting with like going back with like the DOA first 4 elements. So Crux had a theme with a spirits, ghost, and like the spirit realm or whatever. So that's why it's playing a lot with the banishment zone and like bringing things out of banishment. It's kind of like cheating. But yeah, Arcane is about like uncontrolled power. So it's like a lot of power, but it's hard to control it, which is why you see Rai like trying to control what they banish into memory, from memory into the banishment zone to get stronger. And a lot of cards like Reckless Conversion that does a bunch of random things. Yeah, exactly. Terra is about growth and preservation. So you can see stuff like Arima constantly growing and the Preserve mechanic. And Luxum is about recovery and blinding your opponents, I guess. With like Luxum. There's a lot of design space with Luxum we haven't explored yet, but nonetheless. So the 3 new elements in Alk are Umbra, Neos, and Astra. So Neos is the element of creation, which you already saw with the Tenoris teaser. He makes tokens. So Neos is going to be like that element that's going to swarm the board with a bunch of different tokens. If you like that type of playstyle, Neos might be for you. Astra is about like kind of like fortune telling and planning. And like I can't reveal like what the gameplay is yet, but yeah.
That's the hint.
Yeah, it's like fortune telling, planning, and like predicting the future type of stuff. Like with the stars and stuff.
Gotcha.
And Umbra is like it's hindering your opponent with like curses and like stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's very very exciting then. Well, I know you briefly touched upon it, but now that I actually have you here and you are basically the lead game designer of Grand Archive, what does like designing a set look like?
Well, I think that designing Dawn of Ashes and also Alchemical Revolution is going to be very different from how we design future sets. It's because it's the first time classes are being released. And so we already had a lot of plans with how each class was going to work before we even started designing the set Alchemical Revolution. And so we took what we wanted Ranger to do, and then we assigned like a lot of slots in the set for them to do very specific things. And then we started designing like blank cards, and then we assigned art to them and go through the process.
Are you able to share like I guess how long ago did set 3 pop into your head basically? Like when was set 3 basically thought about, or like, oh, I need to start thinking about set 3?
Well, I don't remember when specifically, but you guys know whenever you released the product page on our website and it said ALK, and that abbreviation never actually changed. That was
basically
yeah. But with like Fractured Crown, it used to be called ARM, but then we changed it to FTC. But with ALK, it never changed. It stayed the same.
Gotcha.
So.
ALK is releasing 2 weeks or 15 days before Ontario. Therefore, there's about 2 weeks before when it officially releases to when the event actually happens. When should we expect like the next spoiler season to potentially help with future to help players out?
Yeah, the thing with Fractured Crown was once you saw a card get spoiled, you can immediately see how it could interact with like a current deck. But with Alchemical Revolution, where there's like 3 new classes and like basically all the decks are new, you won't really have an idea of how to build that deck until like 80 to 90% of the cards are spoiled. And so good luck. So like, even if we started the spoiler season early, it won't do too much because you need like a lot of it until you can do something meaningful. But we plan on keeping the spoiler season probably the same timing as what we did with Fractured Crown, though.
So like roughly a month-ish. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, another really exciting thing about that presentation was something called Proxy as Vaults, and you briefly went over it during the slide, but can you just tell us basically what it is?
So Proxy as Vault is a new way for us to add new cards to the game without printing them, and the benefit of that is we can immediately impact a meta without having to ban cards. So a lot of companies ban cards because that's the only thing they can do to fix a meta issue immediately. Yeah. And with Proxy as Vault, we basically publicize a new card, add it to the database, say it's legal, and you're allowed to proxy the card and have it be legal in your deck for competitive play. And so it's not a replacement for bans, and it's mainly meant to fix like very specific meta issues. It's not really like we're not going to like print silver bullets to certain strategies. It's more like, okay, this archetype is feeling a bit weak, let's buff it a little, something like that. This matchup is feeling really slow and it's supposed to be competitive, but the timing of the matches aren't competitive, so we need to speed it up. Stuff like this, where you can't just ban a card and it'll fix it, right? So it's just another way for us to fix issues that otherwise won't be possible through bans.
Gotcha. And I just wanted to clarify, because I've heard, whispers in the wind, this is not a replacement for bans. Like, there still will be a ban list.
Yes.
So you guys are not afraid to ban something if something is an issue, but this is just another way basically to help the meta. Exactly what it says. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I think this is also another clarifying question, but I know that you're basically able to print these as soon as it's available. Like, you just go, hey guys, new Proxy as Vault card or cards or whatever it is, and then it gets added to the print to play database, and then I can print theoretically as many as I want almost. And I know during the slide you said this is strictly material deck cards, so I only need one, to be fair, for my deck. But is there any intention for Weebs or the store or anybody to sell this as a set? So again, more clarifying question.
So Proxy as Vault isn't actually going to be legal for proxy forever. It's going to be legal for proxying up to 1 year after the printed copyright date of the card. So if it says copyright date 2024, you're allowed to proxy it and play with it until 2025.
Gotcha.
This is because maybe 10 years down the line, there's going to be 200 Proxy as Vault cards, and we don't want people playing with all proxy material deck. Yeah. So there's that. And then now that, say, it's 2025 already, and actually it had to be 2026. The cards aren't legal to proxy anymore. You would need to find a real version of it. Yeah. That will be given away at major events like Ascent or Nationals or Worlds. And then also we might do promotional cards. They're foil versions of the cards and other types of giveaways and promotions.
Cool. Actually, that's pretty nice. And then why do a proxy, right? Why do you want it? Why do you want a proxy to be legal versus you're just gonna print a bajillion of these in advance and then you can register and ship it out or something actually have a real card versus why are you allowing a proxy?
Because it takes too long to distribute if you print. Even if we were prepared for it, most of the time we're not prepared for a meta issue that creeps up suddenly that we don't know about, and then so we can release an idea instantly after sufficient testing, of course. Yeah. But and then once we release it, people can print it right away, add it to their decks. They don't need to worry about, okay, well, this card's legal now, but my store doesn't have it, and this rich guy got express same-day shipping.
Overnight.
Right. So we don't want people to need to stress about that, so just make it legal for proxying in your material deck.
Okay. That's pretty sweet. Well, I appreciate your time, Sylidar. Do you have any final thoughts to the community? I know you're coming off of a very successful event, so any final thoughts, or drop some spicy leaks?
I don't have any leaks today.
Nah. I tried, guys. I tried.
Thank you guys for showing us a great time at Ascent Houston. For those in the Oceania region, there's Ascent Auckland coming up. Be sure to grab the tickets for that. Those are already on sale. And if that's too far for you, there's Ascent Ontario in California.
Yeah, California one, guys.
That's going to be great. They're going to be run by TM32. We're going to have some devs there doing some special announcements as well.
Whoa, these are the spicy leaks. Whoa.
Yep. And last but not least, Worlds.
Oh yes.
In Las Vegas.
Yes,
in May.
It's very exciting. There's it's the invited 16 players, so that would be the World Championships. But you guys, I also forgot, you guys also announced that there will be a open invite Ascent Vegas basically running alongside it.
And we're doing something really spicy for that.
Ooh, that's very exciting. Alrighty, well, thank you guys for watching, and again, thank you again, Sylidar, for taking the time, and we'll see you guys next time.